Welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time to continue on with the top 10s in each class. We do this every June, every December. Remember, this is just me and my opinion, so there will be bias from my account, my experience. We're going to culminate this with my top 30, and then, of course, the tier list I've been doing every single month. We're coming up on 5 years with the MCoC Illuminati, all their knowledge, all of their experience. Make sure you tune in for all of them, man. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell, all of that stuff. And then again, the formatting for these top 10s is like questing as far as like story content, EOP, the new Wheel of Fate. Like, how good are these champions when combined? Like, hey, we want to really put this on them. The tough defenders, the tough ass, the tough nodes. And then, of course, battlegrounds as well. I do include war a little bit, but that's more of a tiebreaker. War is just so different for a variety of reasons at what level you're playing it. We want to take into account, but again, it is more of a tiebreaker. Now, we will start off with the honorable mentions. And I want to say Cyclops, and I've said in some videos recently, I will not be surprised at all if Cyclops is in this top 10 in December. I've been doing the stocks up video, which means these champions are always good, but defenders and nodes are coming into the game more and more that this champion has RPG's counter for. It's not that they became better, it's that their value got higher in the game. I think that might be him, that true focus buff. I really struggled not to put him in the top 10 in case that's not clear. This is probably the longest I've talked about a single champion in the honorable mentions for any of these videos so far. I really do like Cyclops a lot. Coming in with Gentle, I'm not going to go at length about Gentle, but he does have the Daunted. He is a good champion. He is probably one of the strongest, like, pure RPG counters. It's just that it's so related to Bullseye and nodes we aren't seeing that much. If another champion comes out, another skill champion that like you want a pursuit on that's doing bleed, I can see it. I can see it. He's got the Daunted, not bad for Yelena as well. Good dual threat in battlegrounds. We've got Omega Red. If you've got a high sig Omega Red, you know how good he is. You know what the tentacle hits and turning off the damage back mechanics and all that. And you're like, dude, how is he not in the top 10? Well, Mutant's incredibly powerful. We've got Professor X, who I love. Or almost hurt me not to have him in the top 10. If you know how much I love playing him. And I do think Cyclops is maybe like an updated version, so that plays into it a little bit as well. Iceman, all those immunities. The evade counter, I've done the videos on him, especially when he first came out. I knew the hype was going to be strong on him, and I was like, I want y'all to see the flow on this guy. When defenders and nodes start to throw problems at you, and AIs, it's a little difficult to keep up his stuff. He's still phenomenal, don't get me wrong. But I had to throw a little cold water on that one. So hopefully you saw those and appreciated it. Great champion, honorable mention, a Colossus, right? If you have like a Maturian account, maybe you don't have all these 7 stars like I have, all his immunities, the immense damage, so many people have shown it. MCoC Encyclopedia shows it. A fantastic champion there in Colossus. And then Domino. Trust me, I love playing Domino. I love her Flaming Trinity. My Domino went through a long period where she was critting like a machine, a great defender in battlegrounds. I get it, but again, these champions are ridiculous. We're going to start off with number 10. Oh, and the other formatting, and hopefully you've seen them all, so you're familiar with this. I'm not going to include the 6-star lock champions in the rankings. However, when we hit a tier break, I'm going to cover them. I'm going to talk about them, where I think they would land if they were to come out as a 7-star, because there are some great ones in the Mutant class. We're starting off with none other, and I'm recording this on Father's Day, so it makes sense that Big Daddy Apocalypse. Do you need him awakened? Absolutely not. As you can see, it is a heal back, right? I've enjoyed that from my 6-star Apocalypse that I had at a relatively high sig. It was nice, but don't get me wrong, that was not why I ranked him up. You have the 7-star, something like that, do not even worry about it. You see he's got this whole genetic code, right? He can go stun immune while striking. He gains more when fighting a mutant. You can run him with, I think, as Mr. Sinister, which is huge because of the buff. But at the time when he came to the game, Cable got a huge buff. I played Cable a ton, and that just started him with more of his code, so he can develop an immunity to bleed, incinerate, and disorient effects. If you're using him for this, my advice is hit slowly into whatever is incinerating or bleeding or disorienting you, and then your immunity will develop. What you don't want to do is just go in 5-hit combo, and now you've got like 8 of them, and you take a bunch of damage while those immunities are developing. You can see opponents suffer 100% a Purify ability accuracy reduction. It's really interesting, him, and I'll kind of relate this when I talk about the 6 stars, is myself and the Illuminati, when we do the general tier list, we often talk about this is our prognostication should these champions come as 7 stars, but then when we actually have to test them and play them, it's so helpful in knowing where they're at. There was a time where I would have told you Epoch would have been much higher on this list. He's still in the top 10 in a phenomenal class. It keeps getting buffed. It keeps getting new powerful champions. So he is fantastic. But if you're familiar with my stocks up, stocks down video, you might be looking at a champion, and by might, I mean you are, that for me is going to be a stocks down. That does not mean they aren't phenomenal. Still in the top 10 in this class, but not what he once was. In other words, his stocks are not at an all-time high. His RPG ass, not at an all-time high. Still phenomenal, just like the stocks up. The champions were always good. It's just what they do is ask for more and more. Apocalypse, it's a little bit different. Plus some of the other mutants that we're going to see as we go through this are doing it a little bit better, a little bit more, ask for a little bit more. You'll see as we continue to go on. Shout out to HeatlyBros on my Discord server. Been hanging out for a long time, dropping knowledge. Been talking about Havoc. And you know what? They are correct. They are correct. There's another champion where I think if you really want to get to know Havoc, and this is we're on number 9, and utilize him, you're going to do great stuff. Remember, Havoc has the huge SP3. Havoc has the potential for damage over time debuffs, the massive energy resistance. So a lot of fights that Havoc can take. Remember, like someone like myself who didn't know how to do the evade of Onslaught's SP1, I used and cheesed him. It's not cheese because it's Havoc's abilities, you know, but I would use that, get hit, and just destroy Onslaught. You can do this with nodes that are putting energy dots on you. And then, like I said, the big SP3, or you can do a damage over time. I call him the MCoC cockroach because it's like, no matter how the game evolves, Havoc seems to have a use and a way to still be good. Let's move on to number 8. This is, you know, I like to kid. I like to kid. I like to have fun, you know. But this is a Kabam announced. You know, she was the destroyer of everything that skilled champions have ever done. And it was like, seriously, you're putting a champion like that in the game? And it turns out she actually kind of was. All non-contact to hit. So like the damage back mechanics of like your Korgs, your Atumas and things like that. Yeah, she's not doing contact, right? So that's incredibly valuable. Everything she does is passive. Like the stun is passive. The incinerates are passive. She has a mechanic that I like to joke around about, right? But it's like the counter attack of the counter attack. It's her way of handling bullseye. We all thought her damage was going to be kind of in the mid level, right? Like obviously not amazing, not terrible, kind of mid. And it turns out it's not. It turns out it's very, very good. It's not, again, she's not a pure nuke, but it's good enough. She can be a decent dual threat in battlegrounds. I've been showing you tech champions who just handle her, who I think are good at putting into your battlegrounds deck. I very much want one. I do not have a 7-star, but I would really like her. I would want her awakened though, okay? And you can kind of see why. It helps her as a defensor with her defensive, but it also as an attacker, her evade counterattack inflicts some incinerates, rounded up, and personal incinerates are paused during her special attacks. When I tested her as a new champion, I really liked that pause. I thought it was very helpful in keeping her damage like going, right? And I think that may have been part of why people felt like her damage was not very good, is they were losing some of these, they were falling off. And a champion like this, that is going to be a big negative. But she's very, very good. I think she's very relevant. I'm putting it up at 7, and it feels, I will say, even personally, it feels a little shocking. Like I'm even looking at my list now, be like, do I really mean this? And the answer is I actually do. I get it, right? Deadpool X-Force's damage is, I mean, it like it says, superstitiously superior. He's ridiculous. It's Deadpool. I love it. I wish it was the red one. I probably will never fully get over that, but I'm going to appreciate that we finally have a great, powerful Deadpool in this game, which I love. He does have the taunt, which, you know, don't undersell this. I used to say he had a very little utility, and then I remembered, like, actually, wait, he's got this taunt, reducing attack rating by 40%. That's a significant amount. Also, in a game where the AI is problematic, and I don't just necessarily mean the AI is bad, right? Even when Kabam like kind of fixes the AI, whatever that truly means, the AI will sometimes be passive. That's going to happen. That's how the games work. It's part of what makes it challenging. So when you have an ability that can increase the chance for a special attack by 70%, increase chance to activate special by 70%. I'm not used to seeing them fully call that out. That's a really big deal. That's really awesome. You can flip that with your heavy. He's got the skip mechanic, so there is some skill expression. If you're not familiar with that, meaning like when he's skipping across the screen, you can get up your charges. I don't remember what they're called, but if you can get really good at that, you can get into that, land your heavy, land a lot of bleeds, or just go straight to your SP1. And then, of course, the thing that we all love about him, the Chablis debuffs that literally no one is immune to, that itself is tremendous utility. I'm kind of talking to myself, and as I'm listening to myself, I'm like, no, it's not that I think he's higher up. It's that this is how amazing this class has become, right? He's absolutely phenomenal. And with Yelena Belova in town and him having Daunted, this is kind of a stocks up champion. Don't be shocked if we see that at some time in the next few months. All right, moving on to number 6. I will admit, and I don't, you know, with the general tier list, we try to be conservative, right? We don't ever want to tell you, hey, this champion is a tier above all champion. Then we find out, like, actually, they're third tier. Third tier still good, but I'm sorry, you went out and bought a bunch of crystals and spent your real life resources or in-game resources. Either way, you worked your butt off to get them. I'd rather shoot low. This is top 10. We're having fun. I'm giving you my knowledge, my experience, but I'm okay being a little less conservative on it. I genuinely feel like Jean Grey is like the future of mutants, okay? Now, I've got her at number 6, so you can tell I'm not saying she's the best mutant, but I'm saying I think she is the future of mutants. I think she's something we're going to continue to see, with, I think it's called her Uncanny Passive. Basically, like the specials start to cost less, and they also, you can throw them earlier, right? Like you see the power bar numbers moving down. She has that Delirium, which I'm telling you, I know some really high skilled players. Some of the, all of the Illuminati is very high skilled players, but some of them are in that like 0.01%. Like they literally, we're talking like Celestial 4 level players, we're talking like GT40 level war players. And they're like, dude, it's not that bad. We've gotten you some, like, you and I ain't the same. Okay, you and I are not the same. Because look at this, you need to understand this. Reduces defensive combat power rate, cool. But by the given potency and inverts dash and dodge mechanics, meaning that anytime Jean's shield, she has a shield like Invisible Woman, is broken, she's 100% going to put that on you. However, with her special attacks, there's a 50% chance on that. I ain't that. I ain't, you know, Celestial 4 level Battlegrounds player. I am not GT40 war skill. Like we're talking moving the things with our thumbs. That ain't me. I want those, that reverse controls immunity. Jean is a menace on Battlegrounds defense. And then keep in mind, we just talked about all of her offensive power as well too. She can just cycle through the special attacks. She has a Neuroshock, which actually does good damage. And I want you to see this. It also prevents miss. It's like not called out in her kit specifically. You got to know that Neuroshocks prevent miss. And this isn't related to just certain classes or stuff like that. She just prevents the miss. The Neuroshocks are very easy to get up. It's part of her playstyle. Her flow is very good. You can see she puts on these exhaustions. I mean, she could be decent as a bullseye counter. A lot of the crits that skilled champions are doing. Do you want her awakened? Yeah, I do. And let me find the bullet point here. There was a bullet point where I really felt like, oh, it's bullet point 1. I remember in the new champion video, I really liked her. Bullet point 1. While Jean's force field is active, using the parry mastery instead inflicts a 1.5 second stun passive. That's really nice. That's a long stun passive. Skill champions cannot reduce the ability accuracy. Remember, skill champions, a lot of them are reduced in ability accuracy. They can't do it. She's a hero. Crossbones cannot do it. She's going to go in, destroy champions. Kabam is putting this in questing, in defenders. Yelena, right? She's even got it daunted. I want Jean Grey. She is currently, the way my Titan pool is gone, my most wanted champion that I do not have from the new Titan pool. We're going to talk about number 5. Now, this is like the exact opposite. This is a champion in Wolverine Weapon X who's been in the game for an incredibly long time. He came out and was part of, I think they were called mythic runs at the time. He came in and he was considered a bit of a trophy champion and a defender, right? You got to think about when he came to the game, the skill levels, like what we were being asked to do. He gets very aggressive when he goes into his berserk. And as someone who has a rank 3 and has had a rank 3 for a long time, I can tell you, he catches good players. Now, I started using him on offensive, and a lot of this goes to Illuminati member TJ, right? Phenomenal player. This is like GT40. This is Celestial 4 level player, okay? And he started doing videos, and he started showing, I was watching, I was like, I can do that. Wolverine Weapon X can just tank special 3s. You'll start seeing more shorts from me. You've seen videos from me showing this. And it's part of his playstyle. You just get into your berserk, you go nuts. The bleeds are amazing, and you actually want to get hit. It gives you this massive fury, increasing your damage. And I want to show this to you. All right, it's right here. And this is part of what I'm showing you why he's my favorite bullseye counter. Favorite as in like, he's up there in the top tier of like the best, coming out with like a good score or living, but also like the most fun is this right here. When attack missed or evaded. So anytime he misses or evade, he doesn't prevent either. But anytime that happens, you're going to gain 2 rage, which means you're staying in Berserk, and 100% chance to go unstoppable. It's some of the most fun I ever have in this game, is doing this against Bullseye. He's an absolute monster. Decent dual threat in Battlegrounds. Do you need him awakened? No. You can see, I don't remember when I awakened mine. I was at some sale, I'm sure recently. I played him unawakened all the time. Good in questing, good in Battlegrounds. Not the best in war. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 4. And, you know, we're coming up on a tier break. As the game continues to evolve, I do think that she is in kind of her own special tier. I don't put her up with what I kind of call the big 3 in the Mutant class. If you're not looking at the screen, we're talking about Dust. That being said, I think as the game currently is stated, Dust might be like her own tier above Weapon X. I think Jean is moving there. Dust is ridiculous. If you've got a Dust, I implore you, go back and look at her. In fact, I should probably do some more videos on her, because she's a champion too that doesn't pop off the screen. She doesn't play well on YouTube. It's very hard to get like this amazing thumbnail or show you like this one fight where you can see like, oh my God, Dust is so amazing. You don't necessarily need her awakened. I really like her awakened for defense. It's this last bullet point. Whenever Dust prevents a bleed effect via immunity, there's a sizable chance, you can see mine is already at 67 at level 40, to inflict a sand debuff on the opponent. Remember, sand is what she does, and then goes under sandstorm, and you just can't avoid that damage. You just can't. Like, you have to literally, I like what the designer did. It's very clever. You have to block as if you're like keeping the sand out of your eyes, and you reduce the damage, but then you're sitting there letting her wail on you. She's immune to bleed, poison, and shock effects. Big thing, because remember, shock is a lot of what the tech class does. Her lights and heavies do not make contact. So I actually use her to take out Korgs and Atumas at times, utilizing the lights and the heavy. The light reach on her is very good. If I recall correctly, the designer even tested to make sure that if with 2 lights, she could punish the heavy of, I believe it was Atuma. So a lot of time spent into that. The glancing mechanic can be actually helpful on offensive too. Again, part of what makes her a good defensive champion is she disables the willpower of the opponent. And then she punishes skill champions and purifiers, right? So when the opponent purifies a debuff, remember, you don't have to be a skill champion. So if the node is doing something like that, she powers up even faster. You can just go straight to your heavy into SB2 and SB1s and cycle those through. Or if you need your sandstorm for a longer period of time, you can go to your special 3. You can run her with recoil, right? That's the bleed and poison masteries. And you don't need to, though. You've seen me. I almost rarely, never run recoil. The videos I've done, she is not utilizing them. She does tremendous damage. She even gains a passive grit. So that like fits really well against like a Tuma or champions. If you're not familiar with what grit is, unstoppable opponents react to it as if they were not. And it is actually passive. I thought it was a buff as well too. It shows you sometimes I get stuff wrong. It is a passive. She is, for her, and I think it was Dean who called this out on a recent video. It's like, it's actually the totality of Dust. And that's why I think she's so difficult to show in YouTube videos of like how powerful and how valuable to your account she might be, is because it is all the things she can do. In case it's not clear, I really love Dust. Like I love Dust. Okay, now there is a tier break, and we'll quickly talk about the 6-star locked champions. So if you're not familiar with this means the champions that are not available as a 7-star, and we will be quick on it. One is Archangel. If you've got Archangel, rank him up, make sure he is awakened. That's what turns off the ability, accuracy, and all that. So make sure he is awakened. Sig 1 is plenty. I think it was Sig 121. I haven't played Archangel in forever, but I played a lot of Archangel back in the day. You got him awakened, turn him off, he's gonna do phenomenal things for you. Kitty Pryde. If I remember correctly, you kind of do want her awakened. Make sure you enjoy her playstyle. I found it really fun. Run her with, I think it is Ghost and Tigra, which is really, really helpful. She's a ridiculous champion. I hope she comes to the game soon. I love my OP champions. I love them. They're fun. It makes me feel like I'm playing a superhero. Check out of the real world for a little while and beat stuff up with superheroes, supervillains, and just have a lot of fun in the game. And then Magneto, right? Like #metal, he just destroys it. Archangel and Kitty, I think definitely go into the top 10. That's my prognostication. They probably knock out Havoc and APOC, 2 really phenomenal champions, but they probably knock them out. Archangel, might even make his way into like one of the highest tiers. Kitty, I don't know. We'd have to see how that works out. She was kind of broken for the game as it was when she came in. I don't know how she'd play right now. Just being fully honest, she is phenomenal. A lot of people say that like Dazzler is an updated Kitty, and noticed we haven't gotten to Dazzler yet. So we'll see. Magneto, I'm not as sure. The relationship between Tech and Mutant has evolved significantly. Magneto's going to help you out so much in like Act 5, Act 6, Act 7, 8, and all those sorts of things. But as far as like Battlegrounds and stuff like that, I'm not as sure. Right, a lot of tech champs have come out with like, you can't reduce their ability accuracy, or mutants can't do this, or they can't do that. So we just kind of have to see. And if we ever are lucky enough to get those, if Kabam decides that the game is ready for it, of course we'll test that and get that out for you. But if you've got them as 6 stars, rank them up, have fun. They are amazing champions, or 5 stars too, right? Just make sure it's fitting for the level you're playing. And as I said, we've now hit a tie break, a tier break, not a tie break, but a tier break. And we're going to talk about the big 3. And for me, I thought about this a lot. I take these very seriously. I enjoy this to go back and I test champions. We're going to talk about number 3. And it is even hard for me to have her at 3. No, she's 3. I literally just yesterday took a fight in Battlegrounds against a rank 4 Sig 200 Photon with my rank 3 Dazzler. And came out with a score of like almost 47,000, if I remember correctly, with a full health bar. And I misplayed it. Unfortunately, I let the energy vulnerability fall off when I went for the SP2. If I had done that better, smarter, we shave off a significant amount of time off that fight, and that score goes even up. And that's often Battlegrounds, at least where I'm playing, is you're not always going to end up with the ideal matchup. Sometimes, like I've shown you, like Serpent can be a great attacker because your opponent has a counter, and so you use Serpent on offense and you win. The point is to win. And a Dazzler, she helps me win, dude. She's been great in questing. I've shown this in, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like the EOP Crucible or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like million level health pools. And she has a loop where you go to her SP3 and you come in, you've got the tempo high, and you just demolish stuff with your SP2. I have mine. I do want her awakened, right? You want her awakened, at least Sig 1, because it's what makes it so you don't take the physical damage back. The escalating Sig means you reflect it. It's amazing. I'm going to get a Dazzler video out because I did the new champ video and another one, and it's time for me to do like, here's how it's actually working out in the game. And then at a high Sig, you get this pursuit passive. Now, I'll be fully transparent with you guys. I always am. I have struggled to use this well against Bullseye. I think some of this is due to the fact that the recent Battlegrounds metas have been power gain metas. And so he's getting to his specials and over bar power faster and faster and faster. That even at Sig level 180, the pursuit's only 9.27 seconds, okay? So it's not forever. This isn't like Prowler or something like that with the pursuit, turning off the evade. She has a falter mechanic where she dashes in with her dazzling dashes, giving you openings. And against Photon, because a lot of you are probably like, Photon? Yeah, she just dodges back. So you don't have to worry about the dex mechanic. So champions that turn off the dex mechanic, you don't need to worry about it. It wasn't that long ago where some people were using her in high tier war to take out serpents. Yes, serpents. She's a phenomenal champion. I think very well deserving of being in this tier break here with what I feel is the number 2 champion in the mutant class. And even this was difficult. It just shows you how powerful Mutant is now. Do you need Mr. Sinister Awakened? No. In fact, I just did the, essentially it was like a tier list, or like the best champions to rank up unawakened. So many of you have asked that, and Mr. Sinister was one. And I think there's some confusion on his signature ability. I do think the regen rate one, it still doesn't work. I don't know if I don't know what Kabam's doing on that or going to do on it. It doesn't work properly. That's often not what you're using. And like, honestly, if you use him against like Bullseye and stuff like that, he's just fine. What I just hope is that what Kabam, if they ever replaces this with something powerful. It was there, it was supposed to be powerful. I know Sinister's good, but like, hey, come on, don't take something from us, right? So what this does is you can't rely on this in Battleground. You don't know what you're going to get. It can make him a tougher defender, right? Especially if he gets like the Mystic one. And then if you get the Cosmic one on attack, that's great, right? Your attack rating is increased. Yes, I understand that Despair hurts him in Battlegrounds, but man, like, he's still phenomenal. He's still one of my best Bullseye counter. Ending at 100% health or like 99% is fantastic. He's immune to taunt and reverse controls. Keep that in mind as reverse controls is asked for and those sorts of things. He reduces the potency of bleeds. He can block unblockable special attacks, except against tech. But hey, just blocking them in general. My understanding is he's a very good counter to Yelena, even though he does not have a daunted effect. And a lot of that's just because how much damage he does. His regen rate cannot be reduced. He can be turned off, basically. Like if the node makes champion stun immune, or if the defender is just stun immune, he gets turned off. He becomes significantly more difficult to play, basically cumbersome. You're probably gonna have better options. And I think that's why Caban probably felt safe putting him into the game. But without that, he is ridiculous. He and the #1 champion were my two workhorses in the Karina's challenges going back to Necropolis. I was genuinely shocked that he could be that good in health pools that large. But as you're winning fights, and this is where the SIG is really nice, and you're taking these, he doesn't call them souls, I can't remember what he calls them, but as long as you're taking these abilities along with you, man, in a ramp-up champion, that is incredibly, incredibly powerful. I loved it. I love my Mr. Sinister. He's a good dual threat in Battlegrounds, taking fights that it feels like he shouldn't, but he does. He is fantastic. All of that being said, all the love I just had for Jean Grey, Weapon X, Dust, Dazzler, and Sinister, and Dazzler and Sinister I put in a tier above all. I do think there is a tier break. Onslaught came into the game and was just like, I am light years ahead of where the Mutant class is. Think about that, right? Think about when he came into the game. And he was just so far ahead of where the Mutant class was, and in that relationship between Mutant and skill and skill defenders. Negasonic Teenage Warrior was like the destroyer of all skill things, and people are still like, yeah, I'm going to use Onslaught instead. The damage possibilities with him are immense. I understand a lot of people don't enjoy his playstyle. I totally get that. And one of the cool things about the game being as big as it is, it slides both ways. Some things are great, some things are not. Is that even if you don't enjoy him, one, I think you still see his value, and two, there's someone else you could use. But first, light and medium attacks do not make contact, so you can handle that damage back mechanic a lot of the skill champions. Incoming bleed, incinerate, and shock potency is reduced by 150%. You can take nodes and fights that are doing that, and if they land on, you can actually heal from them. His debuffs gain increased ability accuracy against skill champions. If a personal debuff or the stun from the parry master is purified or prevented due to debuff immunity, re-inflict it as a debuff passive. He is so good that sometimes in Battlegrounds nodes, like the current one, I actually get confused. Like I forget about all the things he turns off or how he works with them or how dominant he is over nodes. Like think this through. If the node goes to debuff immune, you can still parry stun them. That is wild. They have to be stun immune. There are nodes, this happens, where champions go debuff immune, and if they go debuff immune because of this, Onslaught can still parry stun them. That's unheard of. It is wild. Of course, the crush mechanic, he's got daunted. I fought a Yelena because my opponent just had literally all the defenders. So I just was like, I guess Yelena is the one I'm going to use. I'm very early on my learning to fight her. That's why I haven't done a video on her yet. And I used my rank 4 Onslaught, and he crushed it for me. At least good enough to win the round. Do you need him awakened? No. I love mine awakened. I like this extra defender ability here. I think it's the bullet point 2, right? Mine, people sometimes, I honestly win fights with a rank 4 high sig Onslaught, people going in and using their jack-o'-lantern because his AI is so wonky. His AI, his hitbox, his size, it's so wonky. Even if people have the perfect answer, the fight can still be brutal. So long form in Karina's challenge, he was incredible. Questing, he is incredible. We're seeing the current Wheel of Fate, and one of the toughest fights, at least on Path 1, is Enchantress. He is incredible. War, he is amazing. Battlegrounds, Attacker, Bullseye, Yelena, he's incredible. Atuma, Cord, he is incredible. Throw him on defense. People have Jack-o'-lantern, like the ideal counter. He is incredible. Maybe Bastion will turn this off. I don't know. We'll see. But that's one champion. The worst thing you can say about Onslaught is I don't enjoy his playstyle, potentially. And 2, Bastion can take him pretty quickly in Battlegrounds. If that is the worst thing you can say about a champion, you have the champion who's definitely going to be in the top 5 when I do the top 30 overall. He is ridiculous, and as weird as it felt, I've spent a lot of time thinking this through. In a class that is this powerful, that has had this many buffs and this many new champions, I think he's in his own tier as definitively the best champion in the Mutant class. This one took a little bit longer. I'm going to do my best to edit it out, but this class I think is just so bonkers. There's so much to talk about. I wanted to get out there. I really enjoy them. As usual, let me know what you think you got right. Let me know what you think you got wrong. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you catch them all, catch a lot of turdies, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.